Hello, my friends, and welcome to my writing realm. Today, I'm going to discuss the Portals book launch and share with you what went well and what did not go so well. On Saturday, April 11th, Sable BooKnight's first ever anthology was released and launched. The first category I want to talk about is the location. Because most of the authors are located in Manitoba, and same with me, I decided to reach out to the Selkirk Library, which is called the Gaynor Family Regional Library. This made a lot of sense because of the location of the majority of the authors. Because it was so close to the location of the authors, I figured it would be best to host it there because number one, it's free. Number two, it's easy for everybody to get to. Number three, it also made it accessible for their family and friends. Overall, we had a decent turnout. However, I feel that what could have been better is if we also held a launch in Winnipeg, because Winnipeg is the main city in Manitoba, and a lot of people that are friends and family with these authors live in or work in Winnipeg. And so I feel that we might have had a better turnout if we hosted it in the main city. In terms of the physical layout of the room, I had no complaints whatsoever with the room. It was large. There was extra chairs available in case we had more people show up than what we had anticipated. The library had hosted a lot of other launches there before. They were experienced and had an idea of how many chairs to set out. It was a very open concept. There was lots of natural lighting. It was a great room to host a launch in. The marketing. What went well? The marketing was really great. All of it was free. We posted things on social media like Facebook and Instagram. We also had the interview with the Selkirk Record, which was a local newspaper. A lot of people that I talked to said that they found the post there. The library itself actually had a post inside of their monthly newsletter, and that's how other writers and readers found the book launch posted. The library also had a poster set out right in front of the library, so as soon as you walked in, that is what you saw, and I feel like regular library goers also found the launch information by that bulletin. What didn't go well with marketing? Like I mentioned in regards to the location, if we had held the launch in Winnipeg, and I probably would have reached out to newspapers in the city so that it was more widely read and so that even more people would have found out about the launch, which might have increased the amount of people in attendance. All right, food. Because it was Sable's first ever book launch, I wanted to make sure that there was snacks and coffee and tea. And honestly, I think it was a really good decision. We had paper plates and napkins and paper cups, hot coffee, hot water for tea. We had deli meats and cheese, pickles, crackers, Timbits. I think that it was a great variety of snacks. However, because the location and the area has a smaller population, we did not even get through about half of the snacks that were there. So what went wrong was that I overspent on the launch food. But when you're planning a book launch, sometimes it is a gamble. You have no idea how many people are actually going to show up and support. You have no idea what kind of snacks people like. I think the variety was well prepared. However, the volume was probably too much for the crowd that we had. So we did have leftovers that we brought home, which of course my boys were all okay with. Okay, the readings. The authors read and they did a great job. A few of them had never been to a book launch, had never read in front of an audience, and honestly, they did such a great job. What went wrong with the readings was the microphone. I was not clear enough with the librarian as to how we wanted the microphone to go. There were two options, and I was honestly unsure of what the best option was, but now looking back, I know what the best option would have been. There was a stationary microphone right on the podium, which was in a stand that nobody would have had to hold. However, the librarian kept the portable microphone available so that people could hold on to the microphone. The problem with this is because everybody was reading from the Portals book itself, they had to hold the Portals book and hold the microphone and somehow find a way to turn the pages. It was okay to set the book down and then flip the page, but it was still a little bit awkward. And one specific reader had a visual impairment and needed to use a magnifying glass. And so thankfully, another author offered to stand and hold the microphone for them, which is something that hadn't occurred to me in the beginning. So for the next launch, I'm going to make sure that the stationary microphone is available and set up for use. Sales. What went well? We sold a total of 21 copies of Portals at the launch, which in compared to the amount of people we had, it was very, very good. And what else went well was the fact that I had set up with the Square reading device so that people could use their debit or credit cards to pay for the books. I think that was probably one of the best decisions I made. We only took about 3 sales through the Square reader. Most people paid cash, but overall I think having that alternate source of payment method was a great decision. I can't say that anything went wrong other than I forgot to line up a specific individual to sit there and take sales so that I could be at the author table doing book signings and talking to the readers. However, thankfully, my friend Tyra, her husband, stepped up and offered to help, or possibly Tyra might have voluntold him to help. The last one was pictures and video media, basically. My goal was to have the entire book launch recorded so that I had a video to upload to the Sable BooKnight YouTube channel. So one of the readers, a friend, had offered to bring in her digital camera to set it up and record the entire thing. Unfortunately, the camera cut out after 15 minutes. So what went wrong was that I did not get this recording. So unfortunately, that did not go as planned, so I have to figure out something else by the next book launch. Planning a book launch is about paying attention to detail, planning for the best case scenario, even though you have no idea how many people are actually going to show up. It's about making sure that the information is provided to the public so that people know that the launch is actually happening. One other mistake that I didn't mention in terms of the marketing was that I didn't advertise the fact that we were going to have refreshment. And I think that if I did, maybe there might have been a few more people in attendance. But overall, for the first official Sable BooKnight launch, I think things went well. I have no complaints whatsoever. Although some things didn't go the way that I had intended, it still had a great turnout and we still made some sales. Now, in talking about the money side of things, the printing costs were somewhere in and around $500 to $600 to get 100 copies of the Portals book printed. The total income from the book launch covered approximately half of that print cost. So although I have not broken even and have not touched the cost of the food yet, I think that I will make some more sales this year with the vendor markets, indoor and outdoor markets that I have scheduled for the next few months. So I'm very hopeful to see some more sales come through so that I can cover the cost of the printing. If you have any questions about book launches, please feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos. Have a great rest of your day, afternoon, evening, night, or whatever, and happy publishing.